Trump has a plan to reform Social Security. The Republicans in Congress are about to take over the government. And together with President Trump, there's a plan on the table to reform Social Security. Now, Trump made promises during the campaign that he's not going to touch Social Security, but there is a plan that is going to affect Social Security recipients. So today, I wanted to bring you the details. When I did my last live, I had a question from somebody that brought this up. They shared a news article that they had read that talked about the behind the scenes negotiation that is happening with the Republicans who are about to take over the government on reforming Social Security. So I did the research and I have the details I'm about to share with you. So what I'm going to talk about is this new plan that is being discussed among Republicans. As soon as Trump is inaugurated on Monday, they want to push this forward. I'm going to tell you who benefits from this plan, and most importantly, the 5 proposed Social Security changes that are on the table. Now, stay till the end of this video, because if you are aware of the Social Security Fairness Act, which was just passed and signed into law by President Biden, there's going to be a lump sum payment of $4,320 that is coming. I'm going to give you details about that, so stay to the end of this video. But let's talk about the Trump proposal. If you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Let's get started. So the first thing is, what is this proposal that is being pushed forward by the Republicans? Well, this is the article that somebody referenced. Trump promised he won't cut Social Security. Should you trust him? Well, the Speaker of the House is saying that they have no plans to cut Social Security and Medicare to fund Trump's agenda. If you don't know what that means, there is a proposal on the table to extend the Trump-era tax cuts, the $5 trillion tax cuts that Trump passed when he was first in office. They want to extend it and permanently, and that's going to cost a lot of money. And that is tilted primarily, or to a large extent, towards the rich. So where's the money going to come from? Well, the speaker is saying they're not going to touch Social Security. But here's the thing: saying you're not going to touch Social Security and Medicare does not mean that the future of Social Security or Medicare is not being threatened or not on the table. So let's talk about it. So this is from the Columbus Dispatch. There was this opinion piece. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are ready to go to war with seniors. Trump won't save Social Security. This is a letter from somebody that got a lot of posts on social media, and so somebody forwarded it to me and wanted me to look into it. Then there is this thing from Rolling Stone. Elon Musk wants to pay for his tax cuts with your Social Security and Medicare. So basically what's happening is that Trump said he's not going to tax Social Security and Medicare, but the agenda that the Republicans are pushing forward, especially number one, to reduce the deficit, number two, to extend Trump's tax cuts that favors the rich. Where is the money going to come from? If they're not going to touch defense spending, if they're not going to touch Social Security and Medicare, where is the money going to come from? So there is consensus that they are not telling us the truth, because saying you're not going to touch Social Security and Medicare today does not mean that what they are going to do is not going to impact the future of Social Security and Medicare tomorrow. So let's dig further. Now, this is from the Common Dreams. Trump's nomination of Project 2025 architect means Social Security, Medicare are at risk. Now, if you've read Project 2025, you know what that contains and what it wants to do to Social Security and Disability and Medicare. So Trump nominating the architect of Project 2025 to be the budget director, what does that mean? So this Democratic Congresswoman is saying that it means that there are things happening that we don't know, so we should look into it. Now, here's one that I think should get your attention. Trump's new Treasury Secretary is saying that he wants to cut the deficit to 3%, which is the target, which means that it's going to require a massive cuts to anti-poverty programs and middle tax increases. So there's so many things that are happening that makes you think, okay, if they say they're going to tax Social Security and Medicare, then where is the money going to come to fund all these proposals that they are talking about at the same time? To cut the deficit to 3%, to not touch Social Security, but also fund the Trump's tax cuts. This is all going to unfold in the next couple of weeks. And I know a lot of you get a bent out of shape when I bring this topic up, but my job is to research and bring you the facts. Now, you can make your own opinion about it, but this is all about to unfold before us so we can see, you know, whether this is the plan or not. But what the news is talking about and what I'm reading is painting a completely different picture. Here's another one. Trump has a Project 47 agenda. Well, what do you need to know about it before the inauguration? And then finally, Kiplinger, 8 ways Trump could change your retirement. This is talking about Social Security and Medicare. So I am going to go into detail about the 5 proposals that Republicans are putting on the table under President Trump. Now, what is Trump's position on Social Security? He said there will be no benefit cuts. Trump has made it clear his commitment not to cut Social Security or Medicare benefits, repeatedly emphasizing this as a key component of his campaign. His stance is not one penny will be taken away from current benefits. Current benefits. Retirement age commitment. He specifically pledged not to raise the retirement age by 1 day, distinguishing his position from other proposals that suggest increasing the retirement age. Eliminating taxes. He wants to eliminate part of the Social Security tax. A significant part of his plan is to eliminate federal taxes on Social Security benefits, which could affect about 40% of current beneficiaries who pay taxes on their benefits. And then let's put this on a historical context. This will effectively reverse tax policies implemented in 1983 and expanded in 1993, returning to a time when Social Security benefits were tax-free. This is all good news, but here's the deal. Currently, the IRS uses a specific formula to calculate who pays Social Security. And if you're a single filer, you know, if you make less than $25,000, you don't pay Social Security taxes. If you're married and you file jointly, if you make more than $32,000, you don't pay Social Security taxes. So this is a progressive tax system. Now, with all the changes that Trump is proposing, how is that going to affect the trust fund? Well, despite concerns about benefit taxation, it only contributes 4% to the Social Security Trust Fund, making it a relatively small portion of the overall funding. So if Trump were to eliminate taxes on Social Security, it's only going to impact the Social Security Trust Fund minimally, because the tax revenue that comes from taxing Social Security is only 4% of the Social Security Trust Fund. Payroll taxes, on the other hand, are the majority of Social Security tax revenue in the trust fund. The vast majority, 90% of the trust fund, comes from payroll taxes, highlighting the importance of workforce participation and wages. So eliminating benefit taxes will cost approximately $1 trillion. If Trump was to go ahead with his promise to eliminate taxes on Social Security benefit, it's going to cost $1 trillion over the next decade, showing a significant financial impact of the policy change. Now, this could also accelerate the depletion of the Social Security Trust Fund by 1 year. Now, remember I told you that by 2033, the Social Security Trust Fund are going to, run into trouble. And if nothing is done, there's going to be an automatic 20% cut in benefits. And when they passed the Social Security Fairness Act, which I'm going to talk about in a second, that also accelerated the trust fund's depletion by 6 months. So if Trump goes ahead and does this and takes taxes off Social Security benefits, it's going to accelerate the depletion of the trust fund by another year. So between the Social Security Fairness Act and this proposal, the trust fund depletion is going to be accelerated for almost 2 years. So we're getting closer and closer to a danger point. But here's the thing. Trump has appointed Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, and they have their own ideas on how they want to cut government spending. So let's talk about this. Vivek Ramaswamy's approach focuses on economic growth and reducing government size. He wants to cut $2 trillion in spending. J.D. Vance wants to emphasize getting 7 million prime age men back into the workforce. And they both want to focus on economic growth, and their strategy is to stimulate the economy to bring in more tax revenue. But all that is being talked about, there is behind the scenes negotiation on proposals to trim or reform Social Security because 2033 is coming and something has to be done. And I think this is where a lot of people are not paying attention, because something has to be done to save Social Security. And when they put bills on the table, when they put proposals on the table to reform Social Security, sometimes things are sneaked into it that had unintended consequences for people who are currently receiving Social Security or people who are waiting to receive Social Security. So let's get into the 5 proposals that Republicans are currently considering when they take over the government next week, the full government, including the presidency, on what they're going to do. So the first one is raising the retirement age. This has been tossed around a lot. And if you've been paying attention, the retirement age was just raised from 66 to 67. And now the current Republican proposal suggests raising the retirement age from 67 to 69, similar to Reagan's previous increase from 65 to 67. This change will address 20 to 30% of the projected funding shortfall. So basically, by changing the Social Security retirement age from 67 to 69, is going to solve up to 30% of the Social Security trust fund shortfall. Because here's the thing, there's only a few ways to fix Social Security. You're either going to bring in more money, or you're going to slow down how much money is being taken out. And to slow down how much money is being taken out, you can raise the retirement age or reduce benefits. And so raising the retirement age obviously is going to naturally slow down how many people are getting Social Security on a yearly basis, and then it's going to extend the life cycle or the lifespan of the trust fund. And so the reality, though, is that critics point out that many people in physical labor jobs cannot work into their late 60s, making this change particularly burdensome for certain workers. And then the proposal would disproportionately affect lower income workers who often have shorter life expectancies and more physically demanding jobs. So basically, they're saying that this change of raising the retirement age yet again is going to be problematic and is going to affect low income household the most. So that is the first proposal. The second proposal is COLA adjustment. If you've been paying attention, the cost of living adjustment was 2.5% for 2025. A lot of you have been making a lot of noise about it. A lot of you are unhappy about it because inflation has gone up and stayed up. Prices of everything, transportation, food, clothing, housing, everything, medical care has gone up and stayed up. And yet Social Security COLA was only 2.5% for 2025. Some of you got about $30, $40 a month. And so now they want to slow down COLA increases even further. So reducing the cost of living adjustment by 0.5% will impact both current and future retirees. So this is another, remember what I was saying is, to fix Social Security, you have to either bring in more money or slow down money that's being taken out. And one of the ways to do that is to cut down on the COLA increases. The already low COLA increase, there's a proposal to even cut it even further by 0.5%. That effectively slows down how much money is being taken out of the Social Security system. The change will address disproportionately 29% of long-term funding gap. So by slowing down the COLA rate, 29% of the shortfall will be addressed. So you can see how when they tell you they're not going to touch Social Security, but they can do things around the edges that all of a sudden start to feel like they're touching Social Security. Because if they slow down the rate of increase in COLA, of course, they are not touching your Social Security benefits, but they're slowing down how much money you can get on an annual basis to solve the problem. So this is the second proposal. In my opinion, this is one of the proposals that is likely to pass because they can say that they haven't touched your benefits, and technically that's true, but this proposal is on the table. The change will address approximately 29% of the long-term funding gap, making it more effective than raising the retirement age. So just as I was saying, unlike other proposals, this will affect all beneficiaries, making it more equitable but potentially unpopular solution. Now, the compounding effect, the impact of reduced COLA compounds over time, potentially significantly reducing the purchasing power of beneficiaries. So one of the struggles that seniors are experiencing now over the last 5 years, especially due to inflation, is that your Social Security check, its purchasing power has been reduced significantly because inflation has gone up and stayed up. So 5 years ago, what you could buy then, now your check cannot buy it anymore, even though they've adjusted for COLA, because the COLA adjustment has not gone up as fast as inflation has gone up. So now they're putting a proposal on the table that will reduce COLA even further, or COLA increases even further. That is going to make the situation even more worse. But it, as I said, is one of the solutions that actually can pass because they can technically say, we have not touched your Social Security benefits, or we have not cut your Social Security benefit, which is true. They haven't cut your benefit, but they've slowed down how fast your benefits can grow. The third solution, which in my opinion is probably should be the first solution, is payroll tax changes. The existing system splits the 12.4% tax between employees and employers at 6.2% each, with self-employed individuals paying the full amount. The proposal suggests increasing the tax rate to 6.5% over 6 years, minimizing the immediate impact on workers. It has bipartisan support. The solution has strong support backing from both parties. 85% of Republicans support this, 88% of Democrats, making it politically viable. And the change will affect all wage earners, spreading the burden across the entire workforce rather than targeting a specific group. I think this proposal of fixing Social Security is actually more realistic. Why? Let me tell you. Because there's only two ways you can fix this problem. If the Social Security Trust Fund is going to run out of money and we're going to make 20% automatic cuts, why are we in the situation in the first place? Is because we don't have enough money coming into the system versus the baby boomer generation retiring at a record rate. And so there is a lot of money coming out of the system to pay retirement benefits. So in order to fix the shortfall of the money coming in and the money going out, you have to do something. You have to bring in more money, or you have to slow down how much money is being taken out. Well, we keep talking about slowing down how much money is being taken out, but we're not talking about increasing how much money is coming in. And the most viable way to do that, to bring in more money, is through taxes. And one of them is increasing the payroll tax rate from 6.2 to 6.5%. And then there's another way of bringing in more money. There used to be a two-tier Social Security tax system. And this year, if you made up to 176,000, you paid Social Security taxes. There used to be another cap where above 400,000, you paid Social Security taxes, and there was a gap in the middle called the donut hole. Well, what happened was that Congress eliminated the top one. And so we only have the bottom one, which is up to $176,100 for 2025. It increases every year based on COLA adjustment. So the new proposal is to go to 250,000 and above. And so you close that donut hole And then, this will effectively put more people into the tax bracket to pay Social Security taxes. So rather than doing, this two-tier system, they're trying to massage it. But the whole point is that this is what it looks like. If they brought back the 400,000 mark, somebody that's making $50,000 using last year's calculation will pay $3,100 in Social Security taxes if you use the 6.2% calculation. So $50,000, 6.2%, you pay $3,100 in Social Security taxes. Somebody making $500,000, let's say that they, anything above 400,000, you pay Social Security taxes on. So somebody that's making 400,000, 500,000, let's calculate how much they will pay. On the first 168,000, which was last year's cap, they will pay $10,453. And then because they made more than 400,000, everything between 400 to 500,000, they're going to pay taxes on that part also. And so they're going to pay an additional 16,000. So somebody making 500,000 will pay a total of 31,000 in Social Security taxes instead of the current rate where they will only pay $10,000 based on last year's calculation. So you can see how suddenly money begins to flow in because we've restored the 400,000 and above level. So look, it's not rocket science here, guys. If the system is running out of money, it's kind of like our personal finances. you know, if you're spending more money than you're bringing in, there are two ways to fix it in your own budget. You either slow down how much you're spending. It means you have to cut spending, which means that increase the retirement age, or slow down COLA increases, or you make more money. And making more money in case of Social Security is either bringing back the two-tier tax system where people above $400,000 also pay more in Social Security taxes, and or increase the Social Security tax rate. So these are some of the solutions. So when people are coming out and they're talking about let's increase the retirement age to fix Social Security, or let's increase COLA, or let's slow down, the COLA increase. COLA is already 2.5% this year. If you slow it down, what is it going to be? 1%? Then why even bother? So my job is to educate you on the solutions that are available and why, if certain ones are being picked, the motivation behind it. So when Republicans return and they have the presidency and they have the entire Congress and they're talking about cutting spending or funding the tax cuts and they're picking solutions, I want you to be aware that these are the solutions that they're discussing, and they're not going to pick all of them, but the ones they pick tells you where their thinking is, because I think there are much more fairer solutions, but they require courage. And sometimes they don't want to do that. They want to do the easiest ones, which actually hurt poor people the more. Solution number 5 on the table is means testing. What does this mean? Means testing will evaluate income levels to determine eligibility for Social Security, potentially reducing benefits for higher income retirees. This approach could reduce the program shortfall by 11%. So I'm giving you how much each solution is going to impact the Social Security shortfall. And this particular solution of means testing Social Security benefits will reduce the shortfall by 11%. Polling shows that there's a high approval from both Republicans and Democrats at 90% and 94% respectively. Voters like this likely due to its targeted nature. So the proposal will primarily affect the top 20% of income earners, preserving full benefits for the majority of recipients. So this is the 5th solution of means testing. It means that people who make a lot of money or high income, it reduces the amount of benefit they can get regardless of how much they've paid into the system. So those are the 5 solutions on the table. Let me know what you think. Which one do you think the government or Congress, because look, guys, they're coming in. The Republicans are going to be in next week. They're going to have the full government, and this is on the table, and this is what they're going to be talking about. So I want you to be educated so that you know what the options are, what each of them mean, and how it impacts Social Security and impacts you, and watch for which options they choose, because these are the options on the table. This is it. So what they pick, or a combination of what they pick, is going to determine by who they want to affect, or who they think they can affect the least or the most. So looking forward, the current Social Security system faces a sustainability issue for younger generations, and changes have to be made. And this is the debate we're going to have in the next couple of months. Now, let's jump to what I was talking about regarding the Social Security Fairness Act. So I did a video previously about this, so I'm going to give you a quick summary about that. So the Social Security Fairness Act passed, President Biden signed it into law, and now money is coming to people who are eligible. So let's walk right through it. The first one is that it's going to increase Social Security benefits for those impacted by an average of $360, up to $1,559 for some people in terms of the monthly increase. And then if you get the maximum increase, your paycheck, your Social Security check could go up to $3,559. And here is the kicker. This is what a lot of people are waiting for. There's going to be a lump sum payment that's coming up. $360 an average times 12 is $4,320. So there's going to be a lump sum payment that's going to be paid to people who are affected and are beneficiaries of the Social Security Fairness Act. This is causing a lot of issues among seniors, because a lot of you think it's not fair that they are only giving money to certain people and not to everybody. So let's talk about it. So President Biden signed this into law a few days ago, maybe a week ago, and is supposed to extend or increase Social Security benefits for millions. It's been all over the news. This is CBS News. This is NBC News. As you can see, it says millions of recipients. So once the law was signed, now let's look at what it does. Over 3 million beneficiaries will see their checks jump from an average of $1,976 to about $3,559, up to $3,559. And this has been a 40-year battle to get this, what some consider an injustice, corrected. So government workers in certain states were affected by this disproportionately and are going to be huge beneficiaries of this. But this has been going on since 1983. Government workers have fought against the WEP's unfair reduction in their Social Security benefits. Many workers worked second jobs or had post-retirement careers in the private sector, but were denied all or some of their Social Security benefits. So the historic repeal of the 40-year WEP provision addresses this long-standing issue where government workers with pensions had their Social Security benefits significantly reduced, where now some beneficiaries could see up to $3,559 in benefits on a monthly basis because of this. It goes into effect in January 2024. So they're going to go back and pay you money from all the way to January 2024. And that's going to happen starting in February next month or March. And they're going to send you a lump sum for January 2024 to December 2024. And then you're going to get your regular increase if you are part of the people that this bill was signed into law to benefit. Now, the primary beneficiaries are public servants. The law affects police officers who work security jobs, teachers who had summer jobs, firefighters who work construction. I mean, basically, there were government workers that also worked in the private sector for whatever reason. And they paid into the government pension. They paid into the Social Security Trust Fund. And now they were denied benefits because of this law. That said, they were double dipping because they were getting a government pension and were getting Social Security at the same time. And so they were denied the Social Security benefit or some of it. So This is going to be life-changing for a lot of people. The current national average of Social Security is $1,976 per month. And this is calculated based on your lifetime of earnings. It's about a 50% replacement on how much you were making during your lifetime. This repeal is going to increase money significantly for these people, some of them up to 90% replacement for what they were earning. And if you look at the WEP, it's going to affect retirees, but the GPO, which has also been repealed, is going to affect spouses. So this removes rules that reduce or eliminated spousal benefit for government pension recipients, previously cut by 2/3 of the pension amount. It also restores full survivor benefits for widows and widowers of government employees who often lost most or all of their spouse's Social Security benefits. It creates equality between government and private sector workers for spousal benefit calculations, particularly important for retired teachers in states where they did not receive Social Security from their teaching career. So here's where I have been getting a lot of you in the comments saying that this is not fair. And so let's talk about it. You got 2.5% in COLA increase, and some people are about to get $360 increase in their Social Security check because they were denied benefits for decades, and now the government is righting a wrong. And it is the right thing to do, in my opinion. But at the same time, it only affects a small group of people. So now what do we do with everybody else that is struggling, that is affected by the tiny 2.5% COLA increase that barely would even buy groceries? I mean, some of you got $20 or $30 increase in your Social Security benefits. That wouldn't even buy groceries for the week. So the truth is that a lot of people are hurting. Social Security benefits, the purchasing power has been eroded by inflation. And so when you see the government or Congress pass a law to increase Social Security benefit for certain groups of people, one would expect that they will consider everybody else and look into how they can impact more people with the Social Security increase. So let me know what you think. What do you think they should have done? One of the proposals that has been on the table for months was to increase Social Security by $200 a month, which is $2,400 a year. That proposal has been around for a long time, but Congress has refused to pick it up. So maybe this is time for them to look at something like that. Because the WEP and the GPO elimination is going to cost $190 billion. That's a lot of money. And is going to affect the trust fund. Now, somebody's saying they get $30 a month for food, and which is what, one egg a day. Well, you're right. I mean, the increases are so insignificant that it's hard to fathom. And there are some seniors who are in a situation where they got a tiny Social Security increase, and then Medicare Part B premiums ate all of that up, or sometimes even set them back. And then you, on top of that, some of you have your food stamps, your SNAP benefits reduced. So it's like you're getting hit in three different places: Social Security with the COLA increase, which is insignificant; Medicare Part B premiums, which went up, which then ate up your Social Security increase; and then you'll get a food stamps letter saying that your food stamps have been reduced because you make too much money. So it's like everywhere you're trying to get help, you're getting hit. But they're spending a lot of money on this WEP GPO repeal, which is $190 billion to do this. And it's going to accelerate the Social Security Trust Fund's depletion timeline by an additional 6 months. So if you've been somebody that has been looking forward to this Social Security Fairness Act, everything is going to start rolling in soon. The IRS is going to look at the table, see who is eligible, and then February and March, they will start mailing you your increases, including the lump sum payment that is going to go retroactive from January 2024 to December 2025. 2024, sorry. So you don't have to do anything. If you're waiting for Social Security Fairness Act check, you don't have to do anything. The government has your information. They're going to send the check to you directly, and your benefit increase will kick in directly and automatically. So let me know what you think. I think that Congress, rather than focusing on trying to do something that impacts a smaller population, only 3 million people are going to benefit from this. Why not do something that affects the entire 72 million people that are on Social Security? Because a lot of people are hurting and they need the help. So let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you think about the 5 proposals that I talked about that are on the table to fix Social Security. Which ones do you think they should pick? And if you've been impacted or you are going to be receiving money from the GPO and the WEP repeal through the Social Security Fairness Act, let me know in the comments your thoughts about it, because some people think that it's not fair that Congress only gave a certain amount of money to certain people and not to everybody else. So I'm looking forward to hearing your comments, and I am going to go live again Monday evening. So stay tuned for an announcement. Until then, have a great weekend, and I'll see you on Monday.